clouds conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel.
And it's time now to take a look at the current weather situation across the country. I'm Tom Moore this hour, along with Vivian Brown. We'll take a look at the current map, and we see a whole lot of rain down Texas way. You had quite a bit last night, and this rain is moving on up to the northeast in quite a hurry. Some of the rain being pulled up to the north by a cold front, which is coming in and going to take that rain into Tennessee and throughout much of the southeast. Let's break down the map for you, though, and we'll take a look at high pressure, which means a very nice day around New York City. It was cloudy yesterday. You had some showers over toward Philadelphia, the nation's capital. A little rain left over in Maine around Portland, but that should be pulling off in a hurry. Another front coming into the Great Lakes. Light showers here, say around Flint, Michigan, moving eastward. Not a whole lot of moisture with this system. There seems to be a separation between low pressure to the north and the storm system to the south, so they aren't together yet. Now, some of the moisture could all coalesce, get together, and move on up the eastern seaboard come tomorrow. Clouds are expanding rapidly throughout the southeast, already on the Georgia-Alabama border. Then the thicker clouds are found back into Mississippi, as well as Arkansas, where it's raining, and the rain has made it eastward to about the Tupelo area of Mississippi at the current time. We had a whole lot of rain from this system, a whole lot more to come. Kingsville in Texas, about 2 3/4 inches. Corpus Christi, a little over 1 3/4 inches. San Antonio had a good rain yesterday. Some golf ball size hail around that area as well. Here comes the rain now. It's going to really pull up into Tennessee and Kentucky later on, and then eventually eastward into Alabama before the day is over, and on into Georgia a little bit later on tonight. In the west, lots of high pressure, great weather. Big ridge in the upper atmosphere protecting the showers from coming on in. Eventually they'll break through and make it into Washington State as the area low pressure comes on in for the weekend, while the southwest stays on the dry side. Mild temperatures throughout the nation, already 69 in Atlanta. A little cooler in Texas where the clouds are hanging around, but then it clears out nicely in Phoenix, 77 degrees. And another great day for the Pacific Northwest, already 56 in Seattle. The Northeast stays cool, a little bit cloudy, especially in New England, as Caribou, Maine stays at 38 degrees. There's the national radar. Let's take a couple local stops. We'll go to Memphis, Tennessee, and here we see some showers right there around Tupelo, Mississippi, back into the Memphis area. No big thunderstorms here, just some light showers, and they're racing to the northeast. And we'll go into Tupelo and take a look at some showers there, and down toward Jackson. As a matter of fact, the whole state of Mississippi will have some showers later on this afternoon, and these will continue to move to the northeast. It looks like Muscle Shoals and Huntsville, Alabama will receive some rain pretty soon as well. Stay tuned to the Weather Channel. We'll have the good afternoon forecast, and that'll be coming up next. And the weather new continues this hour. Tom Moore along with Vivian Brown. And most of the nation, very mild temperatures, although we do see that rain that we just saw on radar that moved east out of Texas toward Mississippi and all points in the southeast.
That's right. Much needed rain, and looks like that will continue in the next 24 hours. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. It's our good afternoon forecast. We'll start with it later on this afternoon, and you see the green color on this map. Well, that's where the rain will continue to fall. Already getting rain just about everywhere over the state of Texas, and that rain is moving into the northern portions of Mississippi, and that's where most of the rain will be concentrated. Even by the early morning hours, we'll see the frontal system crossing over the Great Lakes, push a little bit more to the south, and pull some of the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico as far north as maybe around Virginia, even into sections of Pennsylvania. Now, by the late afternoon hours of tomorrow, we'll see those frontal systems getting a little bit more close, and the energies from the two will bring quite a bit of rain, much needed rain along the mid-Atlantic coast. High pressure will build over the Great Lakes and make way for a nicer day. At least two-thirds of the nation by tomorrow afternoon will experience a pretty nice day as high pressure will control most of the west. Some pretty measurable amounts of rain can fall over the Gulf Coast region. That's where as much as an inch can fall in the southern portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Over the northern portions of the upper peninsula of Michigan is where you'll find the snow. 1 to 3 inches of additional snow are possible. And a look at the forecast highs there. You have it, a mild day for most of the nation. Still pretty cool, though, over the Great Lakes and the Northeast, and definitely supporting the snow over the upper peninsula of Michigan. And here's a look at the forecast lows. 20s, 30s, and 40s for a good part of the nation. But you'll find some 60s in the southern portions of California, Arizona, and even throughout much of the southeast. Stay tuned for the forecast for your weekend. It's coming up in about 2 minutes.
Coming this weekend, a very special presentation of the Weather Channel.
How would you react to disaster?
He said, you can raise up, but don't panic, because the houses are gone.
Watch Calm to Catastrophe to learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival and how to deal with the emotional impact when catastrophe strikes. Don't miss this special presentation, Calm to Catastrophe, this weekend on the Weather Channel. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for more weather coverage here on the Weather Channel.
Today. Certainly you'll see a mild day for most of the nation with those 60s streaming as far north as Seattle, Washington. Another sizzler, though, in the southwest. The deserts will get up to 100s, and then we'll see the 40s and the 50s over much of the Great Lakes and the Northeast. The rain along the East Coast on Saturday, actually from border to border, from the Canadian border as far south as maybe around Tallahassee, Florida. Now, that system will move offshore on Sunday, leaving behind a few scattered showers over the Great Lakes and the Northeast, and maybe an isolated thunder or two over the southern portions of Florida. But take a look at the west. It's dry here, and the temperatures on Sunday, no complaining. You'll find 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Even a few 100s once again, and some 90s too in the southern portions of Texas. Certainly a warming trend for the Plain States and the Southeast, and still pretty cool, though, over the Great Lakes and the Northeast. Stay tuned for your local forecast, and then we'll take a look at the Boat and Beach Report. You don't want to miss that, especially if you're planning on boating or beaching.
Buy any original classic model contour chair, and I, Art Linkletter, will send you your choice of a fabulous 19-inch Panasonic color TV, microwave oven,
or VCR. But don't buy a contour chair for one of these.
Get one because it's the most restful, healthful chair you ever relaxed in. Contour chairs help to relieve low back pain, poor venous blood circulation in your legs, edema, and swelling of the legs.
Call toll-free and get full details on our fabulous offer.
I chose the Panasonic Color TV.
I took the VCR.
I got the microwave.
Hello. I'd like to have your catalog and certificate mailed to me free.
Certainly, sir.
See how easy it is? Call for your free catalog and certificate right away.
Call 1-800-231-9400. That's 1-800-231-9400, toll free. Call 1-800-231-9400.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Local information here on the Weather Channel. How would you react to disaster? Learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival. Watch Calm to Catastrophe this weekend on the Weather Channel.
Just think of having the convenience of a copier and a fax machine right in your office. Not enough space? Too much money? Not anymore. With the Murata M1200, you've got a high-speed fax machine, an office copier, and a full-feature telephone in one compact, low-cost unit that takes up less space than a standard typewriter. With the Murata M1200 fax, phone, and copier, you won't be losing time traveling back and forth to a copy fax center. And the M1200 is so inexpensive, you can afford to keep one at home for those rare occasions when you've left an important document behind. Like all Murata products, the M1200 is reliable and backed by great service and support. For a limited time, the Murata M1200 fax, phone, and copier is specially priced at only $675. Call MJP at 1-800-937-9393 now for complete details with no obligation. That's 1-800-937-9393 for more information about the Murata M1200 fax, phone, and copier. Call now.
And it's time now to look at the Boat and Beach Report. A little bit better weather in the Northeast today, unless you live up in Maine where it's still raining just a bit and it's a bit cool. We've had some bits of clearing from time to time across the eastern lakes, but there's more precipitation back into Michigan, so it's not going to last long. And that front steering up the winds around Lake Michigan as well as Lake Superior, but lighter winds are found on the eastern seaboard, down through the Delmarva Peninsula, for instance, and the sun is out today. Nice day, although water temperatures still hanging in the 40s this time of year. But they go up to the 60s once we get into South Carolina. There are the clouds in Texas moving rapidly eastward to Alabama. This afternoon, not much sun there. South Florida in pretty good shape. And generally light winds. If you see on our ledger, the yellow only 5 to 15 miles per hour. And that is pretty good news. Now in the west, we continue to find a little bit of wind up in the Puget Sound area, but generally light winds with that big ridge of high pressure throughout the west. And plenty of sunshine. Now, there will be some early morning fog along the coast because of the marine influence, a bit cooler there. But once you get inland, sunny and very warm weather as we move on into Arizona. Stay tuned to the Weather Channel. We'll have your local forecast coming up, and then we'll have the forecast for all the business travelers.
The 36-hour forecast. Day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
Me? Stain wood? That's a job for professionals.
Would you try a stain made for amateurs?
Well...
Czar Wood Stain.
Okay.
Other stains are made for professionals, but Czar Wipe-On Stain makes it easy for first-timers to get beautiful results. And Czar's controlled penetration gives you plenty of time to wipe off excess and avoid streaks and lap marks.
It looks great. My wife is gonna love this.
And for lasting protection, use Czar Clear Finishes. Czar Wood Finishing Products, the best thing that ever happened to wood.
Look for Czar products at this dealer near you.
Here's a look at Friday's edition of the Business Travel Forecast.
Fast, powerful, responsive. The CAT computer is a superior IBM-compatible personal computer with all the features you want at a price that makes buying a CAT easy. The CAT computer has 640K RAM, a 20-megabyte hard disk, a color monitor, a full keyboard, and even a mouse. The CAT computer runs all the terrific word processing, accounting, and graphics software. With a CAT computer, you can finally afford the computing power you've always wanted. To get all these features anywhere else, you'd have to spend as much as $4,000 or more. Through this special limited offer, MGP Federated is offering the CAT computer for just $999. And remember, that includes a color monitor, a mouse, and a 20-megabyte hard disk. Call the toll-free number on your screen for a free brochure. Call 1-800-937-9393 today for the powerful, affordable CAT computer.
Stay tuned for the Days In 5-Day Business Planner, keeping track of storm systems, hazardous weather, and poor road conditions that may affect your business travel. The Days In 5-Day Business Planner coming up in just a few minutes right here on the Weather Channel.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Local information here on the Weather Channel.
Vacationers Atlas is sponsored by the Jamaica Tourist Board, who invite you to come back to Jamaica.
Planning early for a unique vacation adventure? Next summer, take flight on an unforgettable adventure across the great state of Alaska. But leave those heavy coats at home, because summer's sun defrosts this Arctic range and turns it into a spectacular landscape full of 20th century contrast. You'll see nature in its finest setting, rivers brimming with salmon, animals in their natural habitat, and clear, clean air. Explore the magic of volcanic wastelands like the Valley of 10,000 Smokes. View glacier-dotted landscapes and marvel at the beauty that surrounds you. Like a wilderness adventure of old, pitch your tent beneath the splendor of Mount McKinley. Pan for gold or experience the northern lights. Temperatures are mild here during summer months, Southern coastal areas enjoy the 70s, while inland temperatures reach the 60s. As you journey northward toward the famed Arctic Circle, temperatures cool to the 40s, and the days grow longer, until at last you gaze across the Arctic Ocean and are warmed by Alaska's exotic midnight sun.
This edition of Weather in Your House is sponsored by UGL, makers of Czar wood stain and other fine home maintenance and repair products.
Me? Stain wood? That's a job for professionals.
Would you try a stain made for amateurs?
Well...
Czar wood stain.
Okay.
Other stains are made for professionals, but Czar wipe-on stain makes it easy for first-timers to get beautiful results. And Czar's controlled penetration gives you plenty of time to wipe off excess and avoid streaks and lap marks.
It looks great. My wife is gonna love this.
And for lasting protection, use Czar Clear Finishes. Czar wood finishing products, the best thing that ever happened to wood.
Look for Czar products at this dealer near you.
Here's Declan Cannon.
The weather had a hand in ruining the finish on this wood furniture, and that's why it's so important that your refinishing job be first rate. It must stand up as much as possible against low humidity and temperature changes. An expert will tell you that surface preparation is key to successful refinishing. The old finish or paint must be stripped down to the bare wood. Remember to work in a well-ventilated area. Begin by applying a liberal amount of paint and varnish remover over the furniture. I suggest a good quality semi-paste type. It'll cling to the vertical surfaces, making your job easier. When the old finish begins to bubble up, scrape it off with a putty knife. Use an old toothbrush or steel wool to reach tight corners and trim. When you've worked down to the bare wood, sand it lightly and wipe away all particles with a tack cloth. Now you're ready to stain the wood and seal it with a clear finish. Watch for tips on these steps in another Weather in Your House. I'm Declan Cannon.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. For the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel.
Now stay tuned for the day's 5-day business planner. America's waking up to days inns, hotels, and suites. Well, we have a couple of systems coming across the country. They're separated right now. The low pressure in the Great Lakes has very little moisture with it, perhaps a few showers north of Detroit. Then we have another system that's to the south, and the moisture is really coming up fast out of Texas and Louisiana and spreading into Kentucky and Tennessee and northern Alabama. And eventually, part of this front will catch the moisture and bring it on up into the mid-Atlantic region. So that means prepare for rain tomorrow if you're traveling throughout parts of the southeast, like Georgia, on up through the Carolinas, and right up the eastern seaboard out ahead of that frontal system. So a wet day for the east. Now in the west, very little in the way of precipitation, although the ridge of high pressure breaks down just a bit, allowing this cold front to come through, so there could be some light showers, maybe some drizzle around Seattle. Later in the day, more rain. Boy, they've been getting some heavy rain in the eastern portions of North Carolina so far this month. And it looks like that trend is going to continue. And showers all the way down to Savannah and Jacksonville as well if you're traveling to those locations. Mild temperatures throughout much of the country. 90s in the southwest, 80s down in Florida, at least through the northern or southern two-thirds of the state. A little bit chilly in northern New England, although low temperatures this time of year tend to be quite low because of the lack of moisture in the air, so the heat of the day can escape. Now, during the summer, when there's more moisture in the air, that absorbs some of the heat, so that's why it's so warm and humid, and that during the summer the temperature just doesn't drop quite as fast, but lows in the 20s, 30s, and 40s throughout much of the country. On Saturday, 90s, 100s again in the desert areas, and warming up too in the valleys of California, the San Joaquin, Sacramento Valley area, for instance. Sunday, the 80s return to Oklahoma City, some 90s in the Red River Valley, in the Rio Grande Valley rather, and 40s through northern New England. Still quite unsettled, cool and clammy throughout the northern Great Lakes, while most of the southern two-thirds of the country return to above normal temperatures, and that trend continues, as we can see right here on Tuesday. Well, we talked about the umbrellas. Keep them handy on Saturday from New York City all the way down to Charleston. Most of the country in good shape Sunday, maybe a few showers coming into the western Great Lakes, but everything winds down. Still some clouds left over, kind of a gray day in Maine, say around Portland and Boston and Providence. And it looks like the rain hangs in there for Monday, at least a few light showers, nothing big, and more showers throughout the upper Midwest and perhaps back into the Pacific Northwest. Now, the next system, we're going to see an area of low pressure in the Rockies and some moisture overrunning frontal boundary, which could bring rain to the Corn Belt. Now, if you're traveling to Iowa, it hasn't rained in a while, so prepare for it. But the farmers there could certainly use this rain. It would be very, very welcome. A little bit of light shower activity in the Northeast on Tuesday as well. Now we'll take a look at a few regional conditions and local weather observations. Call about the Simple Super Saver program. Restrictions do apply, and Simple Super Saver rooms are limited. So call now. Vivian.
It's 23 minutes past the top of the hour, but stay with us at the Weather Channel, because after this word from Days End, we'll take a look at the Florida forecast and another look at the current conditions nationwide. So stay with us.
This is a book of world records. It includes the tallest building, the biggest animal, the fastest car. But there's something they've missed. The world's fastest growing hotel chain, Days Inns. We have nearly 1,000 locations across North America with great rooms, pools, lounges, and with our great prices, you'll want to come back again and again. Who knows? Stay with us often enough and you might get in here before we do.
Call our toll-free number and see why America's waking up to us.
Call 800-325-2525 for reservations at Days locations nationwide.
Stay tuned now for your Florida forecast, which is sponsored by Panama City Beach, Florida's family beach. And we'll take a look at the current satellite picture, detailing the way the clouds are over the Sunshine State. Not many clouds, high-level clouds rolling over the Panhandle, and a few just cirrus clouds over most of the northern portions of the state. But in the southern portions of the peninsula, you'll find plenty of sunshine there around Fort Myers, Orlando, as far as south as Miami, where the water temperatures will be in the mid-70s. The mid-60s, though, as you head to the north, and we're forecasting the air temperatures to be even warmer than that. 84 today for Miami, 85 around Disney World. That's pretty nice. 78 around Jacksonville, 74 in Panama City. Take a look at the 85 around Clearwater, and 86 in Fort Myers. Stay tuned for your local forecast and then lots more exciting weather information.
It's one of the most exciting seasons of the year on the world's most beautiful snow-white beaches, Panama City Beach, Florida. Springtime on Panama City Beach. Gentle breezes and warm Gulf waters create a semi-tropical paradise. Some say it's the best time of the year. Come discover Florida's family beach, Panama City Beach.
Panama City, Panama City, Panama City, Florida family beach.
Doctors measure back pain by how far you can bend. Extra Strength Dones is made for back pain relief with an ingredient these pain relievers don't have. Dones makes back pain go away. Extra Strength Dones, made for back pain relief.
A cheese riddle. Excuse me, Giorgio. What do you get when you add mozzarella to an ordinary tomato? Something to sing about. That's right. Cheese makes it taste better. So don't forget the cheese.
The 36-hour forecast. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
Time to look at this afternoon's weather. Let's go to the satellite picture and put it into motion for you. And as we do, we see plenty of clouds now. These clouds are in Texas, where we had plenty of rain yesterday. Clouds are moving very rapidly, though, east out of Texas. The rain has made it all the way in toward Memphis, Tennessee, and Tupelo, Mississippi. And it's going to continue its trek eastward. Another front coming across Michigan has very little moisture with it. But there will be some interaction between this approaching front. It's going to help to really bring that moisture on up in Alabama and Georgia come tonight, and then tomorrow the moisture will make it all the way up into Virginia. In the west, the ridge of high pressure still dominates. The clouds are forced to go up and over the ridge, but there's a little flattening of that ridge going on with the system offshore, and that will bring some rain into British Columbia and Washington State, but not into Oregon or California. Still some fair weather throughout the weekend there. The deserts, clear skies, that means some very hot temperatures in that region. But it's very interesting when these ridges come on in there that the moisture has to go up and over the ridge. We've had plenty of rain in the Hawaiian Islands, but not so much rain in California lately. Let's go down to the maps and take a look at the current situation around the country temperature-wise. 83 in Miami, looking good already. 69 in Atlanta. Cool in the northeast. Still some clouds hanging around Boston at 45 degrees. Warming up in Minneapolis, 53. Our friends in Des Moines with 59. We could use some rain out in that part of the country. 53. We had some rain in Dallas yesterday. 47 out in Lubbock. 77 degrees. Clear skies at Phoenix. Looks like a hot one out there. 64 around Medford, Oregon. 56. Another beautiful day for the Puget Sound area of Washington State. We'll break down the map for you, and we'll take a look at low pressure and other fronts. It seems like a never-ending stretch of fronts through the Great Lakes. Some light rain moving across the thumb of Michigan at the current time. And a little bit of rain there around Portland, Maine, but that's light and it seems to be moving offshore. High pressure dominates from New York State all the way down into the Carolinas. And we see the increase in clouds that we looked at in the satellite picture. Already some light rain kind of funneling on up into Kentucky and Tennessee. It's also moving eastward toward North Alabama right now. The clouds continue to thicken up a bit, and the heaviest concentration of rain is to the west, but it's all going to be moving eastward as we move through the afternoon and especially on into tonight. Here's some of the rainfall totals. Kingsville, Texas, nearly 3 inches of rain there. We had some hail yesterday at San Antonio, over an inch of rain. In the west, we talked about the clouds coming down into Washington and Oregon, but basically fair skies. These lows, especially the ones down in California, are heat lows because of the heating of the land. They're not responsible for anything in the way of significant precipitation. There's our national radar. We'll take two. Let's go to Detroit first of all, and we'll take a look at some rain showers there up around, say, Saginaw and Bay City, and just to the east of Grand Rapids, moving to the northeast. Action radar takes us on into Lake Charles in Louisiana. We continue to see the rain moving eastward out of Lake Charles, Alexandria, over toward Baton Rouge into Mississippi as well, all continuing to move to the northeast. Well, stay tuned to the Weather Channel. We'll have your local forecast coming up. We'll look at the weekend, too, the all-important weekend forecast.
Because trouble lurks in many places, Rubbermaid waste cans are built to bounce back from an accidental, a slight, even an occasional. Perfect! So while you could buy something less than Rubbermaid, you wouldn't have something made like Rubbermaid. Don't you wish everything was made like Rubbermaid?
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for more local information here on the Weather Channel.
Hello, everyone, and hello, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us at the Weather Channel. It's about 30 minutes past noon Central Daylight Time. I'm Vivian Brown, and this is Tom Moore. And Tom's about to take a look at the good afternoon forecast.
And it looks like a wet one into the southeast as that rain moves eastward. Let's take a look at that. If you live in Alabama and Georgia, it looks like it's going to get wet later this afternoon, and especially tonight. And hopefully that'll wash some of the pollen out of the air. Another front in Michigan. This one is doesn't have much moisture with it, basically, and it's not going to produce much in the way of rain, but it will help to pull this moisture to the north so that the eastern seaboard will be inundated with rain come tomorrow. So if you're in Richmond or Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, look for some showers continuing. Most of the rain in the nation will be right here up and down the eastern seaboard from Jacksonville on up northward. Perhaps a little bit of rain or light drizzle into Washington state, but the west stays on the dry side, as you can see later on Saturday. High pressure dominating the Corn Belt, and we do see some heavier rain later tomorrow, especially in the eastern portion of the Carolinas, say up toward the Tidewater area of Virginia. Not a great day there tomorrow. Heaviest precipitation along the Gulf states and maybe a little bit of snow, say up around Marquette in Michigan, over toward the Sault Ste. Marie area, maybe an inch or two. There are highs today, very mild temperatures throughout the nation. You see the overnight lows cooling off just a bit with some 20s and 30s over the northern tier of states. Well, we'll see if this mild trend will continue on into the weekend, and Vivian will be back with a weekend update. That'll be next.
A cheese riddle. Excuse me, Giorgio. What do you get when you add mozzarella to an ordinary tomato? Something to sing about. That's right. Cheese makes it taste better. So don't forget the cheese.
The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for more weather coverage here on the Weather Channel.
As promised, we'll take a look at that all-important weekend forecast. Let's start with the jet stream, and actually we'll see that trough of low pressure still invading the Great Lakes and the Northeast with that ridge of high pressure in the west. More nice conditions in the southern portions of California, around Las Vegas, Nevada, pushing on into around Phoenix, Arizona. We'll begin to see a cooler day along the coast of Washington and Oregon, and the clouds will roll in with the onshore flow. But first, let's take a look at the forecast highs on Saturday for most of the nation. You'll see a very mild pattern. At least two-thirds of the nation will experience temperatures in the 60s. We'll see some 40s maybe over the Great Lakes and a small portion of the Northeast, but the East Coast will get invaded with rainy conditions on Saturday. The most heavy, well, you'll find that along the Delmarva Peninsula, pushing on into maybe around Charleston, South Carolina. Still pretty dry for the west as that ridge of high pressure sets the standards. Even on Sunday, we'll see this frontal system move a little bit offshore, and we'll begin to see drier conditions with a few scattered showers left over the Great Lakes and the Northeast, and maybe an isolated thunder over the southern portion of Florida. but still pretty dry in the west. A look at the forecast highs on Sunday. There you have that warming trend. Look at those 80s pushing on into Oklahoma City and Tulsa, Oklahoma. Even the 90s around St. Louis, Missouri, and Marion, Illinois. Another sizzler, though, in the deserts of the Southwest. Stay with it. Still to come, your local forecast and lots more.
Buy any original classic model contour chair, and I, Art Linkletter, will send you your choice of a fabulous 19-inch Panasonic color TV, microwave oven,
or VCR. But don't buy a contour chair for one of these.
Get one because it's the most restful, healthful chair you ever relaxed in. Contour chairs help to relieve low back pain, poor venous blood circulation in your legs, edema, and swelling of the legs.
Call toll-free and get full details on our fabulous offer.
I chose the Panasonic Color TV.
I took the VCR.
I got the microwave.
Hello. I'd like to have your catalog and certificate mailed to me free.
Certainly, sir.
See how easy it is? Call for your free catalog and certificate right away.
Call 1-800-231-9400. That's 1-800-231-9400, toll free. Call 1-800-231-9400.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel. How would you react to disaster? Learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival. Watch Calm to Catastrophe this weekend on the Weather Channel.
The Pacific Briefing is sponsored by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve.
The test of a great airline is not just how fast it moves you in the air, but how fast it moves you on the ground. That's why at some of the busiest airports in the world, United Airlines offers you the most advanced baggage systems, faster ticketing and boarding procedures, and the most spacious, convenient, efficient terminals in the business. United Airlines, from the ground up, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies. For reservations, call United Airlines or your local travel agent.
Some unusual weather going on in Hawaii right now. We're actually seeing the tail end of fronts, which is very unlikely for April. You'd normally see this during January or February, but we've seen copious amounts of rain in the islands over the past couple of weeks. Around Honolulu, about 14, 15 inches of rain. It's raining very hard right now around Hilo, and that trend's going to continue for a while. Alaska, fairly clear, maybe a few snow flurries coming on into the western part of the state. Temperatures really not that bad. Remember how they were a couple of months ago when you're about 40, 50 degrees below zero. But at least now we're getting up into the 20s and 30s, 35 in Anchorage and Hawaiian Islands. Early morning temperatures in the 70s, but it'll make the 80s despite the clouds and rain this afternoon. Here's a few more cities around the Pacific region.
Watch the next United Airlines Pacific Briefing for weather in the Orient, Australia, and the South Pacific.
Inside Magazine provides what it promises, namely insight on important world events.
Insight is on the breaking news. You see new things and you learn new things from Insight, and that's important.
It's
provided me with a lot of useful information that gives me fuel for thought about issues of national and international importance.
I regularly read Insight. I think it's very useful. I learn some things from it that I don't learn anyplace else often.
If you really want the news, you want Insight on the News, a weekly news magazine. $25.50 per year, 6 free issues.
Call 1-800-942-3600 to get 51 issues of Insight for $25.50. Your first 6 issues are free.
The 36-hour forecast. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel. How would you react to disaster? Learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival. Watch Calm to Catastrophe this weekend on the Weather Channel.
Now for the first time on television, SMI's fantastic free cassette offer. The convenient condensation of Napoleon Hill's classic motivational masterwork, Think and Grow Rich. Call now. It's absolutely free. 1-800-452-7700. You'll gain self-confidence, improve your concentration, stimulate your subconscious, generate your imagination, master procrastination, multiply your brain power, turn your desires into reality. You will literally think and grow rich. Why does SMI make this amazing offer? Because people who are interested in Think and Grow Rich and other personal development materials are often the same people who are interested in knowing about SMI International's total line of programs and the unique business opportunity we offer. What do you have to lose? Call 1-800-452-7700 and start to think and grow rich.
This is Liz Jarvis, checking weather headlines. A return to mild temperatures across the northern plain states will increase snowmelt along the Red River Basin. Already, residents in North Dakota have been experiencing flooding problems, and the river has yet to reach its expected crest. Spring is back in portions of the east just in time to greet members of the Soviet national baseball team visiting the White House in the nation's capital. A series of winter-like storms has been barraging the northeast, but have had little effect on the mid-Atlantic and southeast. After a bout with winter-like weather across the southeast, spring has returned. The afternoon breaks of sunshine in Jackson, Tennessee shot the temperature up to 70 degrees Thursday. More typical spring weather is on tap to start the weekend as thunder showers are in the forecast. While temperatures in the 70s are a warm change for the east, out west the 74-degree reading in Los Angeles Thursday is significantly cooler than last week's scorching heat wave that claimed 2 lives. Sunshine will be abundant across the LA basin through Saturday. For the Weather Channel, I'm Liz Jarvis.
Coming this weekend, a very special presentation of the Weather Channel.
How would you react to disaster?
He said you can raise up, but don't panic, because the houses are gone.
Watch Calm to Catastrophe to learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival and how to deal with the emotional impact when catastrophe strikes. Don't miss this special presentation, Calm to Catastrophe, this weekend on the Weather Channel.
Fast, powerful, responsive. The CAT computer is a superior IBM-compatible personal computer with all the features you want at a price that makes buying a CAT easy. The CAT computer has 640K RAM, a 20-megabyte hard disk, a color monitor, a full keyboard, and even a mouse. The CAT computer runs all the terrific word processing, accounting, and graphics software. With a CAT computer, you can finally afford the computing power you've always wanted. To get all these features anywhere else, you'd have to spend as much as $4,000 or more. Through this special limited offer, MTP Federated is offering the CAT computer for just $999. And remember, that includes a color monitor, a mouse, and a 20-megabyte hard disk. Call the toll-free number on your screen for a free brochure. Call 1-800-937-9393 today for the powerful, affordable CAT computer. You need us, the Weather Channel, for everything you do.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for more local information here on the Weather Channel.
Time to look at the weekend outlook. Let's turn on the Weather Channel jet stream machine and put it into motion for you. And it keeps the cooler air over the Great Lakes in northeast. Southeast has been mild after a brief bout of rain. The ridge in the west breaking down a bit. That's going to allow a little bit of moisture to come out into Washington State. The rest of the southwest is dry. And basically, it's going to remain that way for the next several months because it doesn't usually rain in California from, say, the end of April on into late October anyway, except for maybe a few aberrations. There's your Saturday temperatures getting hot out there in the desert. 100 degrees or more, 80s, South Texas, most of Florida, cool 40s. Not that unusual. We've seen many Aprils up here in the Northeast where temperatures have only been in the 40s. A wet one on Saturday, but basically on the eastern seaboard only, while the rest of the nation enjoys dry conditions along with those fairly mild temperatures. Sunday, dry in the west again. Perhaps a few showers in the Great Lakes and Northeast, some isolated thunder in Florida, but not much in the way of rain. So not a bad weekend except for Saturday in the east. And here are your temperatures, rebounding nicely with the exception of the Canadian border states and northern sections in New England, but getting pretty darn warm throughout the plains. Well, stay tuned to the Weather Channel. We'll have your local forecast. We'll also have a complete spring weather update. You don't want to miss it.
Considering all the money you can pour into making coffee, don't you think it's worth about a penny for a filter that can make it taste great? Mr. Coffee Filters, the first choice of coffee lovers.
This is my lawn, and I love to work on it. I feed it. I keep track of its growth, its thickness. I know every inch of this lawn, and if there's a problem, I fix it. I give it the kind of care and attention you just can't count on from any lawn care company. I mean, this may not be my house, but it is my lawn.
We care and it shows.
ChemLawn, we care and it shows.
Take the hassle out of lawn care. Call today for a free ChemLawn no-obligation analysis and estimate.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. tuned for the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel.
50 minutes past the top of the hour. You have tuned in just in time for a complete spring weather update. This is a nice picture of the daisies. Just a very nice picture showing you what spring can bring, and certainly with a flower like this, you have to have the sun and the rain, and getting plenty of rain right now over the Lone Star State, pushing on into the northern portions of Louisiana around Monroe. Also, that rain is streaming into Memphis, Tennessee, and to Tupelo, Mississippi. Most of the inclement weather will be found in the southern plain states, and certainly that's where you'll find the clouds, some pretty high cloud types too, as much as 30 to 40,000 feet in the atmosphere, so certainly high enough to produce the heavy rain and some embedded thunder showers throughout this area. Let's take a look at some of the rainfall totals in the last 27 hours. All of these cities are in the Lone Star State, including Kingsville, topping the list definitely with over 2 3/4 of an inch of rain. Even Stephenville with over 2 inches there. And Dallas, Texas picked up over 1.5 inches. And even the capital of Texas around Austin, almost 1 inch of rain. Now, some more measurable amounts of rain can fall throughout the southern portions of Texas around the Brownsville area. As much as 1 inch can fall in the southern portions of Louisiana around Baton Rouge, as well as New Orleans, pushing on into the southern portions of Mississippi and Alabama. The northern plain states and the upper peninsula of Michigan is where you'll find the snow. That's about the only place as much as 1 to 3 inches of additional snow is possible. Stay tuned for your local forecast, and then we'll take a look at the Michelin Driver's Report. Now, if you have travel plans for later on today, you don't want to miss that.
Trying to tighten that tummy, struggling with ordinary sit-ups? Now, work smarter with the Abdominizer, the intelligent alternative to sit-ups. Look, the Abdominizer targets the proper abdominal muscles, so each and every sit-up is made more effective. Safer, too. You can have a tonier tummy in weeks. Best of all, it's so simple. The unique rocker mechanism lets you rock. Rock your way to a firmer stomach. Look, ordinary sit-ups can torture your tailbone. It's not worth the pain.
I designed the Abdominizer to produce an automatic pelvic tilt, which better isolates the abdominal muscles and makes exercise safer for your lower back.
The curl works upper abdominals. Raise your knees and tighten lower abdominals, too. The Abdominizer, just $19.95. The intelligent alternative to sit-ups. Get smart. Call toll-free now.
To order your Abdominizer, call 1-800-255-7900. Use your credit card to avoid COD charges or send check or money order for $19.95 plus $3 shipping and handling to Abdominizer, Department 465, Canton, Ohio. That's 1-800-255-7900.
The 36-hour forecast. Day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
Now it's time for the Michelin Driver's Report. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. And as we look on into the southeast, that's where we're going to find the rain this afternoon. It'll be moving east out of Texas. Right now, just about the whole state of Louisiana is under the dome of rain, as well as Arkansas. And the rain is moving eastward on toward Alabama and Tennessee. So keep that in mind if you're traveling in this area throughout the afternoon. A few showers around Chicago right now. Those are moving on eastward, will affect Michigan, perhaps northern Indiana a little bit later on in the day, but not much in the way of precipitation around the country. A few light showers departing I-95, moving eastward out of Portland, Maine as well. South Florida could see some thunderstorms this afternoon. We've seen those the past couple of days, but those have been few and far between. More thunderstorm potential along the Gulf Coast from Texas to, say, Biloxi in Mississippi. Wind gusts, well, there's another front there, so we could have wind gusts in excess of 30 miles per hour in the area shaded in orange. Well, stay tuned to the Weather Channel. We'll have your local forecast coming up and a new team, and they're going to follow the progression of that rain in the southeast, so stay tuned.
The Michelin family was born to roll with the MXL for imported cars, the XZX for small cars, the XA4 all-season radial, the XH, Michelin's longest-lasting tire, and the all-season XCH4. Michelin, we're the perfect road company for your family.
Find Michelin tires at this dealer near you because so much is riding on your tires.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel.
Thanks for tuning into the Weather Channel on this Friday, and we've got some weather for you coming right up. I'm Mike Bono. I'll be taking you through the next hour here on the Weather Channel. First, the eye in the sky, and we'll put it into motion and add the color for you. And there has been a little bit of snow again whipping on through parts of New England overnight, sneaking through Mount Washington with about 6 inches of snow, some lighter amounts moving through Maine, and another front right behind that generating some more rain and even a little bit of snow around Duluth, Minnesota. We've got lots of clouds and thunderstorms in the Gulf with some heavy thunder showers into Lake Charles and Corpus Christi this hour, a lot of that moving east through the Gulf states, and just some passing clouds in the Rockies, also coming out of the Pacific Ocean, a little bit of cloudiness and a chance of a drop of rain or two in the Pacific Northwest. The map shapes up like this. We see the high pressure coming down from the Canadian prairies. That's a chilly one in the day, but it warms up during the night. Another one around the Four Corners, a heat low in the southwest desert, and another disturbed area of weather in the northwest. High pressure in the east. Even though you have that high, you still have some rain around Portland, Maine, and lots of rain developing around the Mississippi and the lower Mississippi Valley. Here's that line of rain into southern New Hampshire right now with high pressure warming you up to near 60 degrees around New York and Baltimore, where it got down to 31 this morning. Southwesterly winds as the isobars show ahead of this front, bringing rain instead of snow into parts of Michigan, lower Michigan, and a little bit of northwest Wisconsin. A lot of clouds associated with that front. Some clouds, New York State and New England, down to Kentucky and Tennessee, but a nice clear area in a lot of the Ohio Valley and the Middle Atlantic coastal states. As we see that clear area right down to the Carolinas with the clouds and some rain already into West Tennessee and Kentucky, and a lot of that toward the Mississippi Valley. Kingsville, Texas, 2 3/4 inches of rain since yesterday. Stephenville, not far from Dallas, over 2. Dallas itself over 1.5 inches, and San Antonio broke the inch category. Waco and Austin coming in with healthy rainfall totals. High pressure, ironically, not too far from Stephenville or Childress, Texas, but that rain mostly to the east, now breaking out into Mississippi and on into Kentucky with that rain area down toward Alice and Kingsville, Texas. We've got low pressure, but at least some dry weather on the west coast. For the most part, the southwest dry and warm, some unsettled, cloudier weather, Washington, Oregon, into Idaho. And the Dakotas looking pretty good, except some high to middle clouds on into South Dakota and Nebraska. We've got some 44-degree weather in Great Falls in the morning with mid to upper 70s. Las Vegas and Phoenix in the desert. A bit cool on the west coast and a bit soggy and a little chilly in Texas. But 72s at Charleston and Jacksonville, and only 42 at Burlington and 48 in New York, which is expecting a little rain tonight and tomorrow. Some precipitation in New England, the lakes, and more toward the Gulf. We have a few radar stops for you right now. First, taking you into Marseilles, Illinois. An organized area of rain moving through the Chicago area, just branching into Hammond, Indiana, down toward Marseilles, Peoria, and east of Burlington and Moline, moving eastward. Another radar stop into Memphis, Tennessee, with the rain from the Memphis area toward Dyersburg and Jackson, down toward Tupelo, and an action radar. This one takes us right on into Lake Charles, Louisiana, as the light to moderate rain moves out of Texas into Louisiana, Leesville toward Alexandria, and moving on to the east. Stay tuned to the Weather Channel. We have a good afternoon forecast coming up after this message.
The 36-hour forecast. 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
Good afternoon in the east and still good morning in the parts of the west, and thanks for tuning into the Weather Channel. We've got that late afternoon Friday weather map. High pressure moving on into the Atlantic usually means a warm up on the east coast, but this one will not last very long, with southerly winds bringing your temps up, but still a front coming on through the Great Lakes to getting ready to snuff out some of that milder air and even some snowflakes around Duluth and possibly Hancock and Marquette by day's end. On the other hand, the upper winds are drawing this moisture up from the Gulf of Mexico already and on toward the lower Mississippi Valley to the Tennessee Valley. That'll spread through the day as a warm front develops down there. High pressure around Fort Collins, Colorado, and the mother lode of that high up around Banff, Alberta. And that's a cool one at night with high pressure, but the sun does warm it up a bit in the day. Low pressure is really not a bad weather pattern in the west. It's just it's so warm out there that sometimes you form a low when the weather gets kind of warm. Now, by early tomorrow, a cool front not bringing that much rain, but you could get a little bit around the Olympic Peninsula and the Puget Sound. This front moving on through the eastern lakes and St. Lawrence Valley with rain ahead of it. The southerly winds drawing the moisture up along the east coast, and a warm front coming in with some pretty copious rains in parts of Alabama, Georgia. Then a brand new low develops along that front or just ahead of it late in the day, bringing rain right up the east coast. This front with high pressure dries you out toward the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes, and a low with a lot of isobars, and that means a lot of wind in the northern prairies and Rockies for late afternoon tomorrow, as some chilly rains come on into around northern Washington. Not enough to measure much on the rain gauge, though, through 1 p.m. tomorrow. We'll have some light precipitation Ohio Valley to over an inch along the Gulf in the dark green, thanks to the warm front that's really bringing that moisture up. The upper peninsula of Michigan stands to get 1 to 3 inches of snow behind that cool front. And the forecast highs for today, very, very chilly on into the northeast, with some 90s still in the southwest and 70s almost up to Canada in the west. Now, by Saturday, the lows well below freezing, again along the northern tier, thanks to that cool front. The southwest, 60-ish, and on into Florida, some 60s and 70s for lows. Now, the weekend's coming right up, and so is the weekend outlook.
Now, with Budget Rapid Action and an express reservation, you go right from the plane, straight to Budget Express, and into your car. Just sign the contract, and you're off. That's Rapid Action. Priority service for people on the move.
Hello, Budget Rent-A-Car.
I'd like to reserve a car, and I'll take that free upgrade.
Certainly, Mr. Hadley.
At Budget, a free upgrade is yours for the asking. And a frequent flyer card will get you unlimited mileage. Value mile after mile from Budget.
Hello, Budget Rent-A-Car.
The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for more weather coverage here on the Weather Channel.
It's time now to check that weekend outlook as we draw closer and closer. TGIF, it is Friday, and the jet stream once again bumping its way up in the west for Saturday, keeping you warm there, and not too much further south Sunday, whereas the jet does make it down to Tennessee and North Carolina for Sunday, drawing some of the cooler air a little further south, but even that should bump up in the east early next week. Good news for you if you want warmer weather. Now for Saturday, we're looking at some highs, mostly 50s, much better than last week around this time, some 40s here and there. The Rockies cool, but just to the east, the 70s coming up there, making all those blossoms come out on the high prairies, and some 90s on into the southwest desert, and 80s in the Rio Grande, where you could see some exiting showers Saturday and maybe some entering showers around the Olympic Peninsula and the Columbia River Basin, with the rain getting heavy in spots from southern New England to the middle Atlantic coast as a front and a low pressure system team up in that area. But then that all breaks up and disperses by Sunday as a new front starts to dig in from Canada, maybe scattered showers left in Florida and New England, and some dry weather on the west coast. And that's nothing new for you. Now we're looking at hundreds possible around Yuma and Needles with 90s into much of the southwest and 80s widespread there too. That's Sunday, and the cool nose still makes it down to about North Carolina. That's 50s for highs, and we're seeing some 80s and 70s coming on up through the middle of the nation for Sunday. Stay tuned to the Weather Channel. We have the Boat and Beach Report coming right up.
Just think of having the convenience of a copier and a fax machine right in your office. Not enough space, too much money, not anymore. With the Murata M1200, you've got a high-speed fax machine, an office copier, and a full-feature telephone in one compact, low-cost unit that takes up less space than a standard typewriter. With the Murata M1200 fax, phone, and copier, you won't be losing time traveling back and forth to a copy fax center. And the M1200 is so inexpensive, you can afford to keep one at home for those rare occasions when you've left an important document behind. Like all Murata products, the M1200 is reliable and backed by great service and support. For a limited time, the Murata M1200 fax, phone, and copier is specially priced at only $675. Call MJP at 1-800-937-9393 now for complete details with no obligation. That's 1-800-937-9393 for more information about the Murata M1200 fax, phone, and copier. Call now.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Local information here on the Weather Channel. How would you react to disaster? Learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival. Watch Calm to Catastrophe this weekend on the Weather Channel.
Buy any original classic model contour chair, and I, Art Linkletter, will send you your choice of a fabulous 19-inch Panasonic color TV, microwave oven,
or VCR. But don't buy a contour chair for one of these.
Get one because it's the most restful, healthful chair you ever relaxed in. Contour chairs help to relieve low back pain, poor venous blood circulation in your legs, edema, and swelling of the legs.
Call toll-free and get full details on our fabulous offer.
I chose the Panasonic Color TV.
I took the VCR.
I got the microwave.
Hello. I'd like to have your catalog and certificate mailed to me free.
Certainly, sir.
See how easy it is? Call for your free catalog and certificate right away.
Call 1-800-231-9400. That's 1-800-231-9400, toll free. Call 1-800-231-9400.
Well, the Boat and Beach Report coming up, and so is the weekend, and you can think a little bit more in terms of springtime now in the east than you could last weekend. So you may even want to put the boat in the water, although it's a little cool to take a swim. We'll see winds only 5 to 15 miles an hour for the most part this afternoon, and those winds for the most part Lake Superior, parts of Michigan over 25 miles an hour, a little less but still brisk on the eastern and central lakes. You've got a lot of clouds out there, and toward the upper Michigan area, even some snowflakes, so a little early for boating and beaching there, but upper 30s to mid 40s is not very warm on the water temps east, and the middle Atlantic should have the most sun. And some of that extending down to North Carolina, but the clouds and the rains moving in through the Tennessee and Mississippi valleys. Winds fairly light from Florida to the Carolinas to Texas, except in the thunder showers, and fairly light on the Pacific coast, a little stronger north of Astoria. Clouds through the plains and sun for you most of the west, but some clouds, especially on into Oregon and Washington. Stay tuned to the Weather Channel. We have a business travel forecast coming up.
The 36-hour forecast. 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
Power, convenience, and performance. They all come together in this Lawn Chief 12-horsepower heavy-duty lawn tractor from True Value Hardware Stores. It has the power of a Briggs & Stratton industrial commercial engine with an electric start, the convenience of a lifetime adjustable steering system, and a wide 39-inch cutting pad, plus shift-on-the-go performance. Get them all in this Lawn Chief lawn tractor from your local True Value Hardware Store.
Visit your local True Value store, your store of first choice.
A cheese riddle. Mom, what do you get when you grate and melt cheddar cheese over a plain baked potato? Oohs and ahs. That's right, Mom. Cheese does make it taste even better, so don't forget the cheese.
Stay tuned. We've got a local forecast and a 5-day business planner coming up in the next few minutes. But first, the business travel forecast.
Coming this weekend, a very special presentation of the Weather Channel.
How would you react to disaster?
He said, you can raise up, but don't panic, because the houses are gone.
Watch Calm to Catastrophe to learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival and how to deal with the emotional impact when catastrophe strikes. Don't miss this special presentation, Calm to Catastrophe, this weekend on the Weather Channel.
Celebrate America's entertainment choice. April is National Cable Month. 30 days of great nights. Superstars, super hits, styles and trends, winners and losers, inspiration, destinations, facts and figures, sales and bargains, great debates, fun and games. 24 hours a day, Cable's choice is your choice. And during National Cable Month, watch for a different cable network every night featured in prime time. April is National Cable Month. 30 days of great.
Stay tuned for the Days In 5-day business planner, keeping track of storm systems, hazardous weather, and poor road conditions that may affect your business travel. The Days In 5-day business planner coming up in just a few minutes right here on the Weather Channel.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Local information here on the Weather Channel.
This
is Liz Jarvis. Checking weather headlines. A return to mild temperatures across the northern plain states will increase snowmelt along the Red River Basin. Already, residents in North Dakota have been experiencing flooding problems, and the river has yet to reach its expected crest. Spring is back in portions of the east just in time to greet members of the Soviet national baseball team visiting the White House in the nation's capital. A series of winter-like storms has been barraging the northeast, but have had little effect on the mid-Atlantic and southeast. After a bout with winter-like weather across the southeast, spring has returned. The afternoon breaks of sunshine in Jackson, Tennessee shot the temperature up to 70 degrees Thursday. More typical spring weather is on tap to start the weekend as thunder showers are in the forecast. While temperatures in the 70s are a warm change for the east, out west the 74-degree reading in Los Angeles Thursday is significantly cooler than last week's scorching heat wave that claimed 2 lives. Sunshine will be abundant across the LA basin through Saturday. For the Weather Channel, I'm Liz Jarvis.
Homeowners, stop struggling with ugly piles of leaves and brush that ruin the good looks of your place. Instead, with the amazing Troy-built Tomahawk Chipper Shredder, in just minutes you can turn enormous piles of brush like this into mountains of useful wood chips and mulch. Tomahawk's 2 machines-in-1 design makes it easy. First, it's an efficient shredder that turns useless brush, fallen branches, even prunings and vines into instant wood chips and mulch. Second, it's a powerful chipper that turns branches up to 3 inches thick into landscape chips in seconds. And you can use all the wonderful mulch and chips to keep weeds down and beautify your property too. So if you'd like to clean up your whole property the fast, easy Tomahawk way, call toll-free 1-800-826-2220 for complete details on our whole lineup of Troy-built Tomahawk Chipper Shredders. That's 1-800-826-2220. Call today. Operators are standing by.
It's time for the radar update right now on the Weather Channel, and the first thing we're going to check out is the national radar scene. And as we do, you can see that there hardly is any precipitation once again in the west, although as you get on toward the middle part of the nation, it kind of picks up just a little bit. You do have some rain and even some thunderstorms. Look at the rain moving from Oklahoma into Arkansas, and that thunder getting especially heavy around Alice and Corpus Christi, Texas, and around Lake Charles, Louisiana, and just a little bit of rain and snow in the mountains in New Hampshire and Vermont. Radar stops, first of all, into Longview, Texas, where it is raining, and some of that rain around Lufkin and Nacogdoches toward Bryan College Station near Waco, into Shreveport and on toward Alexandria, Barksdale, Texarkana, and just about up to Hot Springs, Arkansas. This is moving eastward and northeastward. Another radar shot will take us into Detroit, Michigan, with rain now all the way from Iron Mountain to Grand Rapids and Lansing, but also coming up on Flint, Saginaw. Here's Grand Rapids, and that is moving east and sort of branching down toward northwest Indiana, moving at about 30 miles an hour. Stay tuned to the Weather Channel. The 5-day business planner is coming up.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel.
Now stay tuned for the day's 5-day business planner. America's waking up to days inns, hotels, and suites. And the late afternoon hour on Friday, the big rush home for the big weekend. Looks like another warm one in much of the Great Basin in the Pacific Northwest, although the clouds are beginning to come into the coast of Washington and Oregon, although a fairly sunny and warm scene in California, a bit cooler on the coast. Now, late afternoon Friday, today you'll see the front whipping on through, as we just showed you on radar, some rains around Flint and Saginaw, and also around the Chicago area down to just about Moline, moving into northwest Indiana. The rain bulging up from the Gulf of Mexico as the upper air brings that moisture in on into parts of Tennessee and Kentucky. High pressure, though, on the East Coast, although a little bit of a weather blip moving off the New England coast, a little low with the rains moving with it. Now, early morning tomorrow, the warm front begins to come up A lot of rain in Georgia, moving into South Carolina. Some of that into New York City and Philadelphia as a cool front sort of joins forces coming in from the west. And another cool front, not with too much precipitation, coming on into the northwest U.S., but the cold air coming down from western Canada. And all these isobars mean lots of wind, and the northern Rockies and the high plains, some pretty gusty, dusty winds tomorrow as low pressure takes shape on the Carolina coast with the accompanying rains, of course. Now we'll see the 30s, a chilly one in the northeast tonight, mostly near the Canadian border, with some 70s, make that highs, 70s and 80s on into Florida, and some 90s in the southwest desert. Now take a look at the 30s for Saturday lows, widespread 60s in the desert and the southeast coast with some 30s on into northern New England. The Saturday highs from 40s to 50s, not bad, much higher than a few days ago, and some 70s in the southeast. The desert and a lot of the arid areas of the west all the way into Nevada staying in the 80s and 90s, and throw in 100 or so at Yuma and Needles for Sunday as the cool weather is anchored over the northeast with the jet stream coming down a bit in the east and that warm weather bulging up through the plains, that on into Monday, and the coolness still in the Appalachians with some very hot weather in the southwest and some 70s up into South Dakota again, but new 30s showing up as a new surge of cool air enters the nation from Canada. Now Sunday, a pretty dry scene on the west coast with some scattered areas of rain northeastern lakes thanks to some weak frontal systems. Again, Monday, the rain into parts of Pennsylvania and New York, and just some light showers. But watch, on Tuesday, areas where you need it in the upper Midwest, the Corn Belt, start to get some steady rain on into that area, and that's a good promising weather for you. Some reports and forecasts right now. Call about Day's Simple Super Saver program. Restrictions do apply and Simple Super Saver rooms are limited, so call now. And do stay tuned to the Weather Channel. We have international weather coming right up, and of course your local forecast, so stay with us.
I'm standing here to show you just how close some of our Days Inn hotels are to airports in over 40 major cities across North America. They have meeting rooms and restaurants, pools, lounges, and great rooms at great prices. And thanks to our ground crew, you can take off right from the hotel.
Call our toll-free number and see why America's waking up to us.
Call 800-325-2525 for reservations at Days locations nationwide.
Internationally speaking, we'll check the normal highs for April in Europe. Still kind of cool in the north and Scandinavia. 40s, 50s through the middle, and some 60s in a lot of the south and west, and even some 70s on the average in parts of Spain, Greece, and around parts of Sicily. Now, the normal precipitation is quite a bit, 16 to 20 days in the British Isles with rain, and more than half the month in parts of northern Europe. It could get to be a fairly rainy month this April, with less than 10 in parts of Spain and around the Black Sea toward the Mediterranean, getting a lot drier. Now, for Saturday itself, low pressure whipping on toward the Black Sea, with Eastern Europe getting some rains around that, and a kind of a blocking situation there with high stuck towards Spain and France, and another low coming in toward Ireland off the ocean. High Saturday, the coolest in the Alps, some 30s, could be some snow there, near 70 around Gibraltar and in parts of Eastern Europe, even the Soviet Union. Now, Madrid should be partly cloudy near 60, Munich cloudy in the mid-50s, and on into Paris, France, we'll see mostly cloudy skies with a high in the mid-50s. We have current weather coming up.
Now for the first time on television, SMI's fantastic free cassette offer. The convenient condensation of Napoleon Hill's classic motivational masterwork, Think and Grow Rich. Call now. It's absolutely free. 1-800-452-7700. You'll gain self-confidence, improve your concentration, stimulate your subconscious, generate your imagination, master procrastination, multiply your brain power, turn your desires into reality. You will literally think and grow rich. Why does SMI make this amazing offer? Because people who are interested in Think and Grow Rich and other personal development materials are often the same people who are interested in knowing about SMI International's total line of programs and the unique business opportunity we offer. What do you have to lose? Call 1-800-452-7700 and start to think and grow rich.
The 36-hour forecast. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
Time for your afternoon weather right now on the Weather Channel, and checking first of all the satellite photograph and how things are moving. And this is a very revealing photograph as we put it into motion, and I believe we can, but even if we can't, we'll see what's happening. Like a lot of clear weather in the southeast and on into the northeast part of the nation, with some clouds, though, on into New England and parts of New York State. You've got a little bit of rain on the Maine coast today, and we have plenty of thunder showers both off the Texas coast, onshore into northeast Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. We like to call that the Arklatex, and that's branching on off into now Tennessee and Kentucky. Dry weather in the southwest and some unsettled weather beginning in the northwest. We'll now take a look at that satellite, not the satellite, that's the satellite, the current weather with high pressure over parts of Alberta, and that's a dry one, but it's chilly at night, pushing that chilly air even during the day into Minnesota, where they've had some snow flurries in Duluth. High pressure four corners, a heat low, low pressure because that warm air is lighter, and it turns into a heat low in the desert, with another low that's kind of unsettled, let's say, and not that clear in the northwest U.S. A high that's not that clear is evidenced by rain and snow in parts of Maine, and here's that precipitation moving up the Mississippi Valley. A little bit of snow moving through down East Maine now, and some rain around Portland, but up to 6 inches of new snow at Mount Washington, New Hampshire, and high pressure right around the Chesapeake Bay. But take a look near the Chesapeake. Baltimore, Maryland, 31 tied a record. That kept those crabs coming out of the bay nice and fresh, even if they were outdoors this morning. Didn't even have to pack them too much with ice. And as we take a look at the map and move on, we could see low pressure kind of hooking around the Carolina coast with quite a bit of rain now moving up the Mississippi Valley, and that's good news in the places that can use it. Look at all that cloudiness, the jet stream looping it around toward West Virginia, and all the upper air just drawing that Gulf moisture to the north as a cool front zips on through a lot of the Great Lakes, and that cold air kind of clears you out in parts of Minnesota and North Dakota. But not too far behind that, the return flow bringing some milder weather up in that direction, as we have some clouds on the Pacific coast, and we also have a little bit of nicer weather toward the southwest as a front is coming down out of western Canada in the Pacific Northwest. We've got 80 degrees in Las Vegas, 85 in Phoenix, 52 in Great Falls and on into Bismarck, 42 at Sault Ste. Marie, and about 50 degrees only in New York, but 70 now in Montgomery and 71 in Atlanta. The National Weather Chart shows that the radar map shows a lot of rain from parts of Michigan toward northern Illinois. Rain gets moderate to heavy, especially down around Lake Charles and Kingsville, Texas. Radar stops, we've got a couple. Now into Nashville, Tennessee, first of all, with the rain from the Cumberland Plateau. A lot of this still aloft. It'll come down soon toward Nashville and Jackson, Tennessee, and up to around Bowling Green, Kentucky, and Hopkinsville, that moving northeast. And one more radar stop, we'll put it into motion for you. And, well, I guess we won't put it into motion, but nevertheless, we do have quite a bit of rain around Lake Charles, Alexandria, and Leesville, that moving off to the northeast. Stay tuned to the Weather Channel, another local forecast, and then this afternoon's forecast coming right up.
The current conditions. information here on the Weather Channel.
It's that eye-catching, head-turning, double-taking, no mistaking, gleaming, beaming, unbelieving, turtle wax shine. That neck craning, shine sustaining, heart shall finish, undiminished, traffic stopping, eye popping, turtle wax shine. Now check it out, ain't no doubt, this is what it's all about. Turtle wax shine. Turtle wax.
Good afternoon. Thanks for watching the Weather Channel. We've got some forecast information for you right now. And as we take a look at it, the southerly flow bringing some milder weather into much of New York State, the Middle Atlantic states today, as those isobars would indicate. But a front is threatening to snuff that right out as it comes through the Great Lakes. Rain coming up the Mississippi Valley thanks to the Gulf of Mexico, and a fairly dry, even though low-pressure system right now around, and into the afternoon, by the way, around Boise, Idaho. Now that will be approached by a cool front out of western Canada by early morning tomorrow as this front gains strength, and another front starts to take shape and even forms a low around the Carolina coast for tomorrow, dragging the rain clear up to Connecticut and down to the Georgia coast, but high pressure, a cool one, begins to dry you out in the Ohio Valley. And that front is a fairly dry one, but look at all these isobars. That means a lot of wind in the west for tomorrow. Not much precipitation, though. The Gulf moisture from the Gulf of Mexico giving you over an inch down in that area, and some of that branching up in lesser amounts. 1 to 3 inches in the upper peninsula of Michigan of snow. That's right, snow, and some 30-degree highs for today in the northeast, some 70s in the southeast, and 80s and 90s in much of the southwest. Then well below freezing coming up again in the upper Midwest with somewhat milder weather in the southwest and also in parts of the southeast. Stay tuned. The weekend outlook is coming right up.
Coming this weekend, a very special presentation of the Weather Channel.
How would you react to disaster?
He said, you can ride that, but don't panic, because the houses are gone.
Watch Calm to Catastrophe to learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival and how to deal with the emotional impact when catastrophe strikes. Don't miss this special presentation, Calm to Catastrophe, this weekend on the Weather Channel. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for more weather coverage here on the Weather Channel.
This weekend outlook is sponsored by Glidden. Try that again. This weekend outlook is sponsored by Glidden. Your paint should be this good. And the jet stream is still looping its way left, right, east, and west, way up in the west on Saturday and way down in the east, and that means that warm pattern goes on in the west and the cool pattern to the north of the jet even into Sunday in the lakes in New England. Again, the southwest fairly unbothered by the jet stream. Temperatures look something like this. We see them still very warm for Saturday, 70s into Wyoming and Montana, but only some 50s in the Rockies. That's the west, 90s and 80s in much of the southwest, including the San Joaquin Valley, but 50s instead of your 30s that you had last weekend in the lakes in northeast, and some 70s on toward the Gulf. Now on into Sunday, if we can just get this moving, we'll take a look at how the old temperatures are shaping up for Sunday. I believe we can't get that going, but we'll be right back here on the Weather Channel, and we do have a business travel forecast coming up if you'll just stay tuned. Also, your local forecast, too.
Still no word.
Recently, 10 best-selling latex paints were brought together in an independent test to take the guesswork out of finding a quality flat wall paint.
Hot, huh?
Each was tested on the toughest quality measurement of all, scrub resistance. The winner?
Glidden Spread Satin. Thank you very much.
Glidden Spread Satin. It outscrubbed them all, and it's on sale now.
Doc, who came in second?
Does it really matter?
Glidden. Your paint should be this good.
Now, let me get this straight. You, Jack, and Charlie, you're going to get up at 5 in the morning so you can fly to Memphis and wait for an hour for a commuter flight.
You got it.
Then you're going to rent a car, drive for 2 hours to get to your meeting. That's ridiculous. You'll be exhausted.
You're telling me.
Well, couldn't you just rent a plane?
You mean charter? Are you serious? Do you have any idea what that would cost?
No. Do you?
Fly smarter. Think charter. Call 800-I-CAN-FLY. For more information, contact your local General Aviation dealer.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. For the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel. How would you react to disaster? Learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival. Watch Calm to Catastrophe this weekend on the Weather Channel.
Introducing Total Raisin Bran. Other raisin brands have only 1/4 as much vitamin nutrition. And eating a raisin bran with only 1/4 the vitamin nutrition you could get is like having Mount Rushmore, hey, with only one president. New Total Raisin Bran is the only raisin bran with 100% of 11 vitamins and minerals. Total nutrition has finally come to Raisin Bran.
Stay tuned to the Weather Channel. The weekend is coming up, and so is your local forecast taking you through the weekend and the weekend outlook in just the next few minutes. But first, the business travel forecast.
Fast, powerful, responsive. The CAT computer is a superior IBM-compatible personal computer with all the features you want at a price that makes buying a CAT easy. The CAT computer has 640K RAM, a 20-megabyte hard disk, a color monitor, a full keyboard, and even a mouse. The CAT computer runs all the terrific word processing, accounting, and graphics software. With a CAT computer, you can finally afford the computing power you've always wanted. To get all these features anywhere else, you'd have to spend as much as $4,000 or more. Through the special limited offer, MJP Federated is offering the CAT computer for just $999. And remember, that includes a color monitor, a mouse, and a 20-megabyte hard disk. Call the toll-free number on your screen for a free brochure. Call 1-800-937-9393 today for the powerful, affordable cat computer.
The 36-hour forecast. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel. How would you react to disaster? Learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival. Watch Calm to Catastrophe this weekend on the Weather Channel.
Coming this weekend, a very special presentation of the Weather Channel.
How would you react to disaster?
He said you can ride that, but don't panic, because the houses are gone.
Watch Calm to Catastrophe to learn how you and your family can increase your chances of survival and how to deal with the emotional impact when catastrophe strikes. Don't miss this special presentation, Calm to Catastrophe, this weekend on the Weather Channel.
This is Liz Jarvis. Checking weather headlines. A return to mild temperatures across the northern plain states will increase snowmelt along the Red River Basin. Already, residents in North Dakota have been experiencing flooding problems, and the river has yet to reach its expected crest. Spring is back in portions of the east just in time to greet members of the Soviet national baseball team visiting the White House in the nation's capital. A series of winter-like storms has been barraging the northeast, but have had little effect on the mid-Atlantic and southeast. After a bout with winter-like weather across the southeast, spring has returned. The afternoon breaks of sunshine in Jackson, Tennessee shot the temperature up to 70 degrees Thursday. More typical spring weather is on tap to start the weekend as thunder showers are in the forecast. While temperatures in the 70s are a warm change for the east, out west the 74-degree reading in Los Angeles Thursday is significantly cooler than last week's scorching heat wave that claimed 2 lives. Sunshine will be abundant across the LA basin through Saturday. For the Weather Channel, I'm Liz Jarvis.
Only a few days left to take advantage of this special offer from AT&T. Listen.
If you're a business spending over $120 a month in long-distance services, and you think that you're saving 20 to 30% with another carrier, we want you to try AT&T Pro Watts. We'll waive the installation charges, waive the change charges, and if you're not satisfied and agree that we have the best value, price, and quality, at the end of 90 days, we'll pay to put you back on your other long-distance vendor. You can save 10 to 38% on AT&T long distance.
And that's not all. With AT&T Pro Watts, no special lines or equipment are needed. Get distance-sensitive pricing, get a detailed record of individual calls, and you save 10 to 38% on AT&T long distance. Call 1-800-222-0400. Remember, we'll pay to switch you over. We'll pay the installation fee, and if you're not satisfied, we'll pay to switch you back. Call now. Pro Watts offer ends April 15th.
Current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. local information. You're on the Weather Channel.
TGIF, and here comes the weekend. Checking the weekend outlook for you right now on the jet stream. Saturday still dipping down to the Tennessee Valley, lots of cool air to the north, but to the south of the jet in the west, still very toasty, and that right into Sunday as some weather systems begin to disturb the upper Midwest, the northern Rockies, the Northwest, and the jet's still kind of digging down into the east by Sunday, keeping it cool to the north. Temperature-wise, this is what we foresee. Some 50s instead of 30s in a lot of the lakes in the Northeast this Saturday as opposed to last weekend, with some 80s in Florida, 70s in much of the Gulf states, even on into parts of South Dakota, Wyoming, and Montana. Cooler in those Rocky Mountain areas, but 90s and 80s all the way up to San Joaquin Valley. It'll be in the 80s anyway. Some rain could creep into Washington and Oregon during the day tomorrow, and rain steady on the East Coast from Cape Cod down to Hilton Head as a front merges with a low-pressure system forming on the coast. Then by Sunday, that shoots rapidly on up to the east with a new front coming on into the upper Midwest and still dry in your western states, with possibly hundreds down around Yuma and Needles and possibly on into Blythe, California. 90s up toward around Bakersfield, and 80s clear Redding and Red Bluff, with most of Nevada coming in with 80s and some 40s still lurking around near the Canadian border in the upper Midwest and on into parts of New England. 50s down toward the Smoky Mountains, and we're seeing some 90s for you crossing the Red River Valley and right down to about the Mexican border on Sunday. You do want to stay tuned for your spring weather update. That's coming up in just a minute. But right now, the local forecast, and your local forecast is sponsored by your local John Deere dealer.
It's deer season. Time to drive a bargain with your John Deere dealer. Now you can get $100 to $300 off on riders and tractors. Or choose accessories at no extra cost. But hurry, deer season ends May 31st. See your John Deere dealer and drive home a bargain.
See the complete line of lawn and garden equipment at your local authorized John Deere dealer.
The current conditions. The 36-hour forecast. Stay tuned for the latest weather information here on the Weather Channel.
It is springtime, and I'm sure you're happy about that. And for a change, it's going to feel a little bit more like spring and probably look a little bit more like spring in some of the areas that were very cold last weekend. Even in the upper Midwest, with this high coming down, your nights will be near freezing, but those days should pick up into the 40s and 50s. But a cool front coming through the lakes could be depositing some snow during the weekend. Lighter amounts probably in the northern lakes and maybe the mountains of New England, where if you're skiing you might appreciate something like that, but still a little bit sticky. With the temperatures getting up, the snow will not be all that powdery. We're seeing some rain exiting parts of New Hampshire and coastal Maine, although the mountains of New Hampshire and Maine having picked up a couple of inches of snow. But the rain, this is the big weather story of the weekend to come, especially the next 18 hours or so. Rain bumping up from the Mississippi Valley into the Tennessee Valley as the Gulf opens up, as we say, the warm, moist air coming up from the Gulf. On the other hand, the west, with these low pressures, not as ominous as it might look because not a lot of clouds except in the northwest. High pressure over the prairies of Canada combined with a heat low in the southwest give you some dry weather from north to south. Not so in the Gulf states, though. Look at all the thunderstorm activity over the Great Lakes, not the Great Lakes, but the Gulf of Mexico, as evidenced by all these clouds. That coming into eastern Texas, Louisiana, and right up the Mississippi Valley toward the Ohio Valley. As the color is added, we see some unusually heavy thunderstorm activity south of about the Louisiana coast. But some of that rain is getting in there, and some of it has already 27-hour totals in South Texas at Kingsville, 2 3/4. Stephenville to the west of Dallas over 2. Corpus Christi, Dallas, San Antonio, Waco, Austin, all coming in with healthy amounts of rainfall. Not so in the west, hardly enough to measure. Some precipitation light in the Ohio Valley and up to an inch from Georgia right through Louisiana and every state in between by tomorrow morning. Some light snows, 1 to 3 inches, are threatening parts of the upper peninsula of Michigan. Stay tuned to the Weather Channel if you're driving. We have the Michelin Drivers Report up next.
Buy any original classic model contour chair, and I, Art Linkletter, will send you your choice of a fabulous 19-inch Panasonic color TV, microwave oven, or VCR. But don't buy a contour chair for one of these. Get one because it's the most restful, healthful chair you ever relaxed in. Contour chairs help to relieve low back pain, poor venous blood circulation in your legs, edema, and swelling of the legs. Call toll-free and get full details on our fabulous offer.
I chose the Panasonic Color TV.
I took the VCR.
I got the microwave.
Hello. I'd like to have your catalog and certificate mailed to me free.
Certainly, sir.
See how easy it is? Call for your free catalog and certificate right away.
Call 1-800-231-9400. That's 1-800-231-9400, toll free. Call 1-800-231-9400.
The 36-hour forecast. The 5-day forecast. Stay tuned for more weather updates here on the Weather Channel.
Now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report. Michelin because so much is riding on your tires. And the rain continues to fall around Houston, Texas, Corpus Christi, Lufkin, Nacogdoches, on into Lafayette, Louisiana, up toward Shreveport, now breaking out into Little Rock, across the Mississippi River into Memphis and Tupelo, and on toward Nashville, and some of that into Natchez and Greenville, Mississippi. That will spread through eastern Tennessee on into a lot of Alabama and North Georgia, this by day's end, as this map shows. And some of the rain arcing down through southeast lower Michigan now and on into Indiana and Illinois will move on into Ohio, as South Florida already is picking up some thunder showers. The thunderstorm intensity strongest along the Gulf Coast, Mississippi, Louisiana down toward Texas, thanks to a frontal system and some moisture pumping up from the Gulf. And also, right around South Florida, you could get a strong storm or two. Windy travel with that front moving through. The winds are gusting up to 40 miles an hour in places in Minnesota. A lot of that wind from the Dakotas and on into Nebraska, clear into the central and eastern Great Lakes as a front whips on to the east. Stay tuned to the Weather Channel. We have the current weather roundup coming up in just a minute.